Hello everyone, this is Miss Broad and this is the English lesson for Wednesday, the 20th of January 2021. And this English lesson is the follow-up lesson to Tuesday. So if you haven't done Tuesday's lesson about prediction, you need to go and do that first because you need to make a few predictions about who the lady in the video is before you can have a go at this next video. Okay, so do that one first and then come back to this one. But if you are already on the right video, then welcome. Today we are learning to understand new vocabulary. Now, this is quite a tricky word, vocabulary. Do you know what it means? Have a think. Chat with your grown-up. What does the word vocabulary mean? Vocabulary means words. So when we're reading a text, we come across lots and lots and lots of words. And sometimes we might not know what some words mean. And if we don't know what something means, it makes the understanding of what we are reading really difficult. For example, if I just go up here and I click on this word. So I've written the word feast. Now, I'm sure you know what the word feast means, but if you didn't, the understanding of the sentence underneath would be really tricky because the sentence says, the frog had a feast to fill his tummy. Now, if you don't know what the word feast means, you wouldn't know that he was putting food into his tummy. You might think that a feast was water. You might think a feast means something from the forest. If you don't know what the word feast means, it makes it really tricky to understand this sentence. The word feast means having a really big meal. So if you didn't know what it means, hopefully that will make the sentence make a bit more sense. The frog had a feast, lots of food to fill his tummy, Okay, so that was just a little example. But today, we are learning to understand new vocabulary around our topic at the moment, okay? So yesterday we looked at a picture of a lady and I have another picture of that lady today. Please, grown-ups, don't give the game away just yet. We're going to find out who this lady is later in the week. But for now, I want you to just have a little look at this picture. This is the same lady that you saw in yesterday's video, but she's in a different place. So the first thing I want you to do before we start looking at any words, before we start looking at any vocabulary, is just to have a look at the picture and see what you can see. There was lots of really good predictions yesterday about the picture being quite old. And I agree, I think it is an old picture. And this picture looks quite old as well. It's black and white. And often, many, many years ago, photographs were black and white. We had lots of great guesses about what job this lady could do. Some people thought she might be a teacher. Some people thought she worked in the army. There was lots of great guesses. But can you predict now, from looking at this picture, have your predictions changed? Do you think she might do a different job? Just have a little look and see what you can see. So just to help you, if you're not sure what you're looking at, we've got the lady from yesterday's picture here. She's got something in her hand. I'm not sure what that is. There's a person lying on the floor and another person holding them up. There seems to be something around this person's head. And there looks like there's something on the floor. Does it look like they're inside or outside? What do you think? That's right, she's outside. So all of these people are outside. This looks like dirt all around them with something in the background here as well. Now this is actually a page from a book that was written about the lady that we're learning about over the next few days, and I have got the sentences from that book here for you. Okay, and it gives us a little bit more information about who the person is. Okay, so I'm going to do something called echo reading. Now, most of the children will know what this is because we do it all of the time in our active reading. But for those people who aren't sure, I'm going to point to the words and read them to you. And I want you to follow me with your finger as well, so that you can look at the words whilst I read them. So let's go on to the first sentence. She trained for many years to do her job. Okay, now it's your turn to read the sentence. So I'm going to point to the words again. As I point to the words, I want you to read the sentence for me. She trained for many years to do her job. So whoever this person is had to train for a really long time to do her job. Now, before we look at that sentence in a bit more detail, I'm just going to read the second sentence to you. We're going to echo read again. So I'm going to point and read first. Then when I've finished, it'll be your turn to point and read. Is everybody ready? During the battle, she went onto the battleground too. Your turn. Fantastic. During the battle, she went onto the battleground too. So we have two sentences. So once again, just like we always do in active reading, I'm going to read both of the sentences now whilst pointing to the words, and then it's your turn to do the same. So I'm going to read them one more time, but I'm going to read both of them this time. Are you ready? She trained for many years to do her job. During the battle, she went onto the battleground too. Your turn. Well done, that was fantastic. Okay, so now we've read even both of the sentences that are written on the page, and they go with this picture. Okay, now when we're reading a text and we find a word that we're not sure of, so like with the word feast, if you didn't know what that meant, it makes it really tricky to understand the sentence. So we're just going to have a little look if there are any words that look a little bit tricky to us. Now, you might know these words, but other people might not. So it's always a good idea to pick out words in text that we think could be tricky for some people and look at them in a little bit more depth. So I'm going to pick this word here. It's quite tricky for me to do this with one hand. I'm going to highlight it. So I've highlighted the word trained. She trained for many years to do her job. And the other word that appears twice in the second sentence, sorry, really tricky to do this one-handed, is the word battle, and it appears again here. So I have chosen two tricky vocabulary words, so two new words to think about in a little bit more detail. So we can tell from the picture that she's outside, but if we use the writing to help us, we can probably guess that she's on a battlefield. Okay, because it says during the battle she went on to the battleground too, and that's the sentence that goes with this picture. Now, what does the word battle mean? Have a chat with your grown-up for 1 minute just to think what the word battle means. So the word battle means fighting. So during the fight, she went onto the fighting ground, which means that we can probably guess that these two people who are with her on the page were probably fighting. What job involves fighting? Can anybody think? Yes, I think they were probably in the army. So, if the word battle means fighting, then it must mean that the lady in the picture went out onto the fighting grounds, onto the battlegrounds to help people. So the first sentence says she trained for many years to do her job. And I chose the word trained as some tricky vocabulary. So what does the word trained mean? Well, when you're in training, you are practicing to do something. So before I became a teacher, I had to train for many years. I had to practice being a teacher so that I could do this with you now. So this person trained for many years to do her job. And she went out onto the battleground where people were fighting to do her job. So does that help you with your predictions about what job this lady might have done? So I don't think she was a teacher because I've never had to go onto the battleground. But whoever this lady is, she trained, she practiced for many years to do her job. Now I want us to start a little book of vocabulary. You can do this in your homework book or on a piece of lined paper, but what I would like you to do is I would like you to write down the word trained and then write a sentence to say what that means. So I'm just going to show you what I mean on here now. So if we, I almost forgot to start with a capital letter then. That was silly, wasn't it? Start with a capital letter. Oh, it's all in capitals now. Whoops, sorry children. Trained means, and then you can put next to it what trained means. And I want you to do the same for the word battle. So battle means, so trained means practicing and battle means fighting. And then tomorrow we might have some more words to add to our vocabulary. Okay, so you've got 2 sentences to write today. One sentence with the word trained, telling me what that means, and one sentence with the word battle, telling me what that means, okay? And then when you've finished your sentence, remembering a capital letter, don't make the same mistake I made. Don't forget capital letters, finger spaces between words, and a full stop at the end for your vocabulary sentences. And when you have done them, see if your predictions are still the same as yesterday. Do you still think this lady did the job you thought she did? Or do you predict now that she might have done something a little bit different? Let me know how you get on with your sentences. Send them to your teachers so they can have a look as well. And then tomorrow we might finally meet this lady and work out who she actually is. Okay, everybody, I'll speak to you again tomorrow. Bye for now.